Awusiafo ma kwamba eba Sabo TV so. Mi gidi se nyame adom ho ye. Na me din ni Bryan Acheampong. Wo wonder say Bryan Acheampong de bia wo ba ya na nkranse. Nene de den na wo ba be. Na onhwe he say nso de enema ebeba wiase ne ade no. Na me ne man makwakohu hu bi. Enam se da bi menyi wasotre. Ma menye no memfa mekyerew. Na hunu se bibi ba na de kode na eba nso eye ade pa ofia oye. Na onhwe so what's the airport da me gidi so nim say e ka Ghana ha de a wanhu a na nye Accra Kumasi and I think say Tamale takra de mo airport de I don't know but then nearby ne say eye Kwahu ha Kwahu no enche bia no kamia so ho bad ya I just all pay passport bi crowd yes without passport ye mawo entry into Kwahu. Now here, Kwahu eba benya airports limited. Bia ya tuni din say Kwahu airports limited. Oga se meboa share. Na abako some patch say it will be one of the longest airports with the largest and longest runway ayewo West Africa. Na mijeri so beka se na hwan kra na eba be sade wi. Yenya ya de nyina Honorable Bryan Acheampong eye abitifi MP na men say bra me ka say ya we yen konko tie yen papa Bryan Acheampong e ba say ya
the next 20-30 years na ye hwesane ya ye growth rate ni tie e ko mamu ha I was say etimi pay adwuma e ma nipa be between 50 to 100,000 outside of omo ye kua Jumano ne government sector and trading. I was saying Timinya a Juma Efa in Juma Pobia directly employ between 50 to 100,000 people. Now that thinking and that planning, no, I was saying CNA because it's not how much I don't know ever 2 years. If you do what I say, you man in your day, you knew what amount for being behind it. And you know, yes, I think the friend growth poles, and near my bit media siwa in Yuma, a day, a bar, a woman. Now, 5 growth poles are you identified as far back as 10 years ago. Edikai airport, a Tosumienu, a Rock City. A tourism development, and 9 sports facilities, and a educational expansion and infrastructure. Meka tourism development. There's the Ghana Heninana. Kwahu has the highest concentration of tourism sites than any other. Kilometers squared in the country. There were close to about 50 tourism sites. I bet me developing a my attraction na edi edwuma day. Abre omanfo edwuma bebre. Yeka education expansion and development so a ebitifi hankwa ebitifi Kwahu East District ebitifi constituency. There were university. PUC. There were teacher training college. Abetico. There was vocational training college. Yes, which is under Ministry of Employment and Employment and Labor. Yes, I was APTEC, a technical training college. And then there was secondary school, Ebitifi Hankwa, who expanded to Kwahu East District. There were about 10 secondary schools, about 4 technical and vocational training colleges, who expanded into Kwahu, which is Kwahu West, Kwahu South, Kwahu East, and Afam Plains North and South. You are looking about close to about 30 secondary schools. It is a hub. If this thing is expanded well, a teacher for beba, lecturers beba, semi-cleaners beba, laborers beba, security beba, between numa abaha. Yeka, friend is saying, sports development. We are about 700 meters above sea level. And if you look at the way East Africa, because of height, they are able to develop very world-class athletes. We have the opportunity to do so. Every North one, every South, very well. Every about 200 meters above sea level. As one can also every was Rama, a higher 700 meters above sea level. And then if you look at the way terrain in Tiana, adding some sports facilities or using even our natural terrain in Kwahu, we can attract very high quality athletes and people in the society, which will in turn create jobs for us. Then the fourth one, I'm going to expand here, Rock City. Now building up to be the biggest hotel in Africa, probably the 48th biggest hotel in the world, well completed. Now, I keep saying this thing over and over again that at 3,000 rooms, if that hotel alone is full, at double occupancy, which is 6,000 people, I will see a poultry industry. A producer will be a poultry industry will come and supply 12,000 eggs every day. And imagine the size of a poultry farmer and a cooperative farms are. And even supply said in Kusiangwa. Makoka check from next year, tomatoes be a mobile baby. Rock City Kwabeto in Naya Kunzi for a major almost so Antono to 4 go na tomatoes. So you can imagine what is going to happen to agriculture just by setting up that hotel alone. Currently, there were 208 workers. There were 208 workers, excluding construction staff. In a year's time, that number will jump to 700. In 2 years, we are projecting to hire about 1,500 people just to work in that hotel. Excluding suppliers, supplier, farmer expansions, you can imagine, say, close to about 20,000 people will benefit directly from just that single facility. Then enters the fifth one, which is the airport project. This is quite an ambitious and audacious project, but we just have to do it. And to do it, the planning must start now. What are we trying to do? I mean, you said Mr. Pidu, the whole of Africa, we are unable to set up something as simple as flight training school, which is one of the things that we want to do, because we don't have the kind of facilities and the airports to be able to do that. Now, if you set up a flight training school, you have to set up a maintenance, you have to set up a service, you have to set up security and all those things. That single item now, a flight training school, is going to create close to about 200-300 jobs. And to be able to do that, you need an airport. Then number two, airport, actually, Mr. Pidu tried to explain it. And now the Kokutukano. Yet the binary Techimani, any up north, any from place, ever seen Kokutuka International Airport near. Well, our airport is probably 500 meters from the Volta Lake. Until near one now, we feel no Fubaninano. Go off the street, put it on the boat, bring it to our airport. Nemana Mudifia Farm Place, Amudi Kotema, friend is saying, Kutukani Tema, Aqua shipping. Bring it to our airport here, and then from here you can send it out so that you don't take those agro produce to Accra. But you see, that said, no, it means that you need to create warehousing facilities for this. And everything that comes around this thing, no, is an opportunity for jobs. But what you are saying? To set up that agro warehousing, maintenance, services, support, and all those things. It's an avenue for job creation in our area in the next 5 to 10 years. And now you have Burger King and KFC, NTBA, McDonald's, you know, these people, they ship their things from America and Europe into Africa. And you know, so I'm the chicken about the kakra the Ghana, no matter kakra Nigeria, no because South Africa, no because you see there is no central processing facility and warehousing facility with an airport at a cost where they can still make margins. So these people are not expanding into this part of town because the facilities are just not there. And we believe that by setting this thing up and setting up the requisite warehousing facilities, the global processing centers, for example, DHL, FedEx, they need a facility in this country or they need a facility in Africa where they can set up a massive sorting facility next to an airport. They can't afford, because of the way the margins are, they can't afford to, for example, put such a facility in Kotoka Airport. So what we intend to do is to provide an airport and the facilities and attract these kinds of people. Amazon, they don't have an African sourcing and processing center. Abrochi na eba Ghana na se eba Africa a one-stop shopper when you be processing the amount for Africa and then use much smaller planes to deliver or vehicles to deliver in the sub-region. So this is a mindset, this is a thinking to be able to have an airport where these global warehousing services can be provided. It translates into jobs. The whole of Africa. Say, assembly in Africa, any part of Africa. Say, yellow corn of the bread. It is stored in Dubai and Europe. African relief warehouses. And near to Africa, Africa sits in Dubai, and it sits close to an airport. Now, if Dubai ever Ghana, and if Dubai echo as a crown Burkina, and if Ghana echo Burkina, so I send to Burkina. If I bet me in a content. For now, it's Dubai because okay, so the Ghana is all the faka. And I said, there is no such airport. Of course, there are airports that can be used. And we want to make it such that our airport will attract the African relief warehousing from Europe and Middle East to Ghana. It's one of the key things that we're targeting. We're targeting everybody. What will it translate to? Jobs for our people. Then, let's say I'm in Boeing 737 MAX. Any problem, and they had to ground thousands of such aircraft. And I say, if there's a global slump in air travel services, you have to park your planes. But you see, in the aviation sector, say, oh, baby, are parking a plane. I get $300 a day, and then $300 a day. And potentially, if you can have a plane car park, as we call it, to house a lot of planes, the whole African continent, not a single one. And the Brazilians and the South Americans are taking advantage of that. Yes, I see enough in Pantanaya, they call Sadaya, why can't we convert it into such a facility and be able to attract a price on foreign exchange for our country? But you see, beyond that, apart from saying you are providing a plane parking service, you need to have a maintenance crew and then a servicing crew. So the car koshe garage and as the car could see warehouse. That is a servicing. But it is a title job. And as a woman is a cost party engine that's maintenance. And you see, you have to train different categories of people to be able to support such a venture. So having that facility around, which is pretty much, close to an airport, paving the ground to be able to park this aircraft, we attract some foreign exchange to the country. We attract a local exchange to the pockets of the workers, and then we create jobs. Of course, if we have such an airport, it's an opportunity to be able to use it for local or sub-regional transport. So we have about 7 or 8 key points. Airport, it revolves around to create jobs for our people, and if we're able to do it in the next 5 to 7 years, it's going to be a long, hard road. The amount of bisa na me wafa London. I say Okoye airport Kwantana is you know, Lord Kwai ni ho, light ni ho, Okoye Sadewe Mamuna Okoye airport. You see, when we do these things will naturally come. And when this thing is accepted, some of the basic things will naturally come. Maybe Mami Fee or Tantra here. And asphalt, but airport residential area na you holding asphalt because of the airport and the kind of people that live there. So when you do some things, certain things naturally come. Kwahu East and Kwahu, for that matter, will be born in our society in the next 10, 20, 30 years to come. And we shouldn't discount what we're doing. Thank you and God bless you.
Kakumwe ejinu kwaku enum kwaku nankasa eno akoko tie na asem no yen papa kan sem pi na mejiri so be wonda kwahu kro ben so kro ben so eyem praye so ana bitifi ana ubo ana tafo na baby anka wunsusu no ehwo ena airport chichirinchi pa no ehwo na eko eye kwahu enkwantanan so on sa video won kro no sanete Kwahu yese inkronkito mamunsuro Kwahu enkwantanai ehwo na yeba be sa airport won waso yi enti no be kakra de sene medi kankan no wo ba Kwahu a you need an international passport and as visa bibi se be chese wo ba Kwahu na Kwahu a ebe hey someone say eye nipa na so ba be airport no wo wedi kan yi bibi I say Rock City Hotel, which happens to be the hotel with the largest your friends say area and say largest you can say sites in the whole West Africa. I koko say children some boy koko say opesaro de kaseme yeti na gidi into eho na yeba bi si airport no eye Kwahu enkwantanan yenwura eye Bryan Acheampong ono na adwumabo bill a visionary leader one ba beyesa na Kwahu bay hey amanfo me de meka cho ne say bompai na bra na onya bedun ko ade a Kwahu ye nso de odo ebebo odum ama ye di Easter no amuna ye in the right and legal way wa ba be legalities bia no kotiso mu a ena obi hu interior ne na mpese me de brew no ena na me de abrew no na senne ye be senhia kai so me din ani abrante richi kai se ye do into show mu so ye makra
Sabo TV, the eye of the youth.